Hello, good morning, and a very warm welcome to BBRC Britain and English. And when I say warm, that's the operative word. Today here, it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and in the more modern conversion of Celsius, that's about 27, so it's quite hot. And just to say, it's only about 20 to 10 in the morning here, 9:40 a.m. Now, just to say, we've had quite a few days hot here. Those of you from overseas, some of you from Asia, or Indonesia, Philippines and various other countries will be quite used to this weather all the time. Somebody texted me the other day to say that they thought it would probably be cooler here than their own country, but actually it's hotter. It's been hotter than Spain as well. Certainly last time I looked, which certainly in May we had certainly a spike of hot weather, heat wave in other words, and it's certainly very hot for people, and it does give English people a bit of a shock. But they're saying now it's going to be a lot more frequent, so we have to watch out. It's going to be a lot more frequent, and since the mid-1970s it's been progressively higher. If you look at the graph, it's got progressively higher in temperature, well, virtually every year or so, and certainly a marked change has been noticed every decade when they've looked at figures again. So we're all warned to be a bit careful, also to consider our neighbours, anybody elderly, check they're all right, because the last thing you want is heat stroke. It's very dangerous, need medical attention for that. There's been a lot of talk about how to cope with the hot weather and perhaps keeping cool in various ways, fans. It goes without saying really, but of course in this country we're used to so many peaks and troughs and spikes in cold weather, snow, hailstorms, a lot of rain, but we're not really used to or equipped to deal with hot weather. And when I say hot, I'm talking about probably 80 degrees Fahrenheit or more. As I say, we're probably talking about over 25 degrees Celsius. We are asked to watch out for our neighbours, any elderly neighbours, and if you're a young person, don't do what some people do. I think it's been very hot in France as well. Temptation is to perhaps jump in the nearest lake, but just be careful if you can't swim, and also be careful of currents, and also the body will actually react to that quite quickly, and it doesn't do the body any good just to jump in cold water. The shock can be a big challenge to the body, and also of course if you can't swim very well. And of course the other thing is, it's happened in Wales over the years sometimes, if you're jumping in water, are you jumping on rocks? Just be very, very careful. And unfortunately, in May when we had the hot snap, the heat wave, I think about 14 or 16 people died, and mainly the young people who just jumped in water, perhaps couldn't swim very well. Very sad. Those 3 sisters died as well. Certainly, it's very sad. But moving on from the weather, tells you we do get hot weather here. Oh, by the way, just to say, if you want to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, or the other way around, certainly in terms of Fahrenheit to Celsius, what you do is, of course most people these days use Celsius. The weather maps usually denote Celsius, but of course it always used to be Fahrenheit. What you do, Fahrenheit to Celsius, you subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit temperature, and then divide by 1.8. You get the figure. I was once probably wrongly taught you double it and add 30, which isn't always right, because it doesn't always equate to the right actual figure. Anyway, but it's a broad part figure there. Anyway, it's very hot here. As I say, 81 here at the moment. It's also 81 in London. It's going to be hotter later on. I think by about 7 or 8 o'clock here, it's going to be about 91. Absolutely amazing for an evening. The nights are drawing in though as well. What I was going to say is, hot weather aside, it does get hot when you want your flip-flops, you want shorts, and you want to keep cool, especially between 10 and 3. It goes without saying, and I feel sorry for the military and all that, but of course not everybody can be wearing flip-flops and shorts. I've certainly been wearing shorts and t-shirt. I've got certainly a v-neck on today, but I did have an ordinary t-shirt but I'm just wearing this one today. I think I'm very good at burning, which is sad, and peeling, which happened last time round. But anyway, just beware of all that. You might have noticed on the wider news spectrum that we've had some political uproar and rancour. Now, a lot of this has been going on for a while, over 6 months, with Kier Starmer. People questioning his ability to do the job, people questioning his leadership, and various other aspects of his character. Now, he actually finally decided to resign, I think it was last Monday, which means we'll have another Prime Minister. He did make a lot of errors, and certainly before he was Prime Minister, there's a lot of talk by certain media about why he didn't do anything about the rape gangs, the Asian rape gangs, which seemed to get away with it, and seemed to be left to get on with what they want to do and abuse children from the Asian Muslim fraternity, which doesn't seem to have been ever dealt with. And there's a lot of talk now, hang on a minute, is it because they may, some of these people might actually be concerned about being labelled racist? Now, it's absolute nonsense people can get away with that, and that is one thing the opposition leader, Kemi Badenoch, has said must stop, and it's absolutely right. And I know some people who, great people, integrated, Africans, other people, who say, well, why should these people get away with it? They get aggressive with authority, or they'll say anything just to get away with their crime. And this should be stopped. And I know some Africans who totally find it totally disgraceful, and they say this should not happen. Why should it happen in a first world country? How can this happen? You'd expect it, as they say, expect it to happen in a very corrupt country. Well, you could say, well, we're not very governed very well at the moment here anyway. And some people call Kier Starmer a follower, not a leader. And some people now think we'll go from one bad leader to another with Andy Burnham. Very popular in Manchester, but a very different job as Prime Minister, if he wins. Now, he may not, but that's the problem the Labour Party have had. They haven't really got anybody who can lead. This is the problem why this has probably gone on so long. But if you go back, it's probably Kier Starmer's premiership has been blighted by all sorts of problems since his day one, with decision making and getting involved with rather what you might call suspect or dodgy donors and things for Downing Street flat and goodness knows what, and relenting on various things he said he would do. He didn't really have any policies before, and not actually considering people. And even we've got schools closing because of VAT imposed on private schools and things like that. And annoyed the pensioners, annoyed the farmers, annoyed everybody really, so they aren't very good. Although having said that, why didn't the other lot do anything about this diversity problem, which seems to be causing more and more problems? When it's supposed to bring people together, it's actually done, mostly it's done the opposite, and it hasn't really considered the ordinary man in the street at all. And now people are, like I say, scared to say anything. It's a total disgrace, and we need to sort this mess out. And I'm sure people who care for the country, they want to be part of the country, they are integrated, want it sorted out as well. They're not all selfish, and they're not all here from their own ends. And there's people who've been here for years who have contributed very well. So let's think about that as well. But there are people coming in, loads and loads, hordes of people, thousands and thousands of young men mainly, illegal immigrants coming here, economic migrants, jumping on the bandwagon, grabbing what they can at the hands of the taxpayer. And that is really annoying people. And it has been noticed by people in the political fraternity and certainly people from the old Labour Party have gone over to Reform and others, where Reform are picking up on these subjects to make sure that it actually gets sorted out. Even about this rape gang inquiry, that's Reform. People might criticise, but actually some of these tough subjects need to be sorted out. They need to be looked into. And we've had too long in this country where certain serious concerns for the public or disasters haven't been investigated for years, or it's taken years and years and years. Got the same thing now with Grenfell Tower. Had the same thing with Hillsborough football disaster, 1989. There's other things, infected blood scandal. They reel them off, and you know sometimes they say, "Well, what's Kier Starmer doing? You know, what's Andy Burnham going to do?" Anyway, enough of the politics. Getting hotter here as I speak. About to bore to death here. Hopefully not. But summer is definitely here with abundance. Now, just to say, anybody who's interested in, if you are from abroad, any of you from abroad, I know from abroad, do be careful about what you wish for and what you bring if you come to England. Don't forget that weather does change rapidly here, and basically you never know from one day to the next, but we know it's going to cool down the weekend. Now there is definitely things happening. In fact, I should say the schools have been closing because they haven't got the air conditioning man enough to handle this sort of weather, and some people have been asked if they want to work from home, and there's all sorts of other things happening at the moment as well. Sadly, some people think, oh, there's a big problem in England with a bit of hot weather. Well, yes, it actually is true, but we need to start preparing for this sort of thing they're all saying now, because it could get a lot worse. Anyway, if you come here, you'll know that there's garden fetes on, there's gardens open, there's some people like to do a walk. In fact, there's some hills not far from here I can see, which probably a nice walk up there, although too hot. They say though, if you can, stay inside between 10 and 3. Don't forget your suntan lotion. I've been peeling because I didn't put it on last time round and got a few burns, and of course 80 degrees Fahrenheit you are going to burn. As I say, that's about 27. I mean, I don't put this suntan lotion on every 2 hours as they advise. It's very expensive in this country anyway, but probably put on once a day. But I know some of you from different countries are so used to it. I think in the war they used to put on lard, but some people say you should burn the skin, so some sort of fat or something just to cover the skin, or a layer of something to stop it burning. But definitely water, and I've had 2 or 3 cold baths actually, because I haven't got a shower working here. Anyway, thanks for joining me here today. It's a bit of a summer spike update, shall we say, and we'll go from that to something else. Probably next week I'm going to be in London, so might get a few shorts from down there. There's a few other areas of content I might upload. You might have seen, if you see the sister channel, alternative channel, that there's a few other bits and pieces I've posted. One of them's an air show, bright blue sky out there, I think mainly. Down on the south coast, sun's beaming in the window here. Got dual aspect here, so I get at both ends here. Certain heat. Anyway, hopefully not burning at the moment, but I certainly was peeling a bit yesterday. Thanks for joining me here today from sunny old England, and have a great day. And there'll be more content to follow, perhaps a more focused and detailed film, perhaps in the next couple of weeks. And you never know, I might give you some, well, perhaps a live, if I can, at some point, from maybe London, but I don't know. We'll see. I've never done a live stream. I've been thinking about it for a time. Perhaps do something live, if it isn't going to cost too much on it, if this camera's man enough. But you never know. God bless you. Thanks for joining me here today.